Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. We would like to continue on this exercise. This time we are going to be talking about all the different components here and what they mean and how we can make use of them and how useful they are and why we need to learn about them. In order to do that, I will do some minor changes in order to make sure that make you understand the point, because I think this exercise can be improved and it should have been improved. Inshallah, maybe for next time I'm going to improve it, so it's going to be easier for you to see it. The improvement is I'm going to show it to you later, inshallah. Okay, now let's go here, and what I did, I just need to name it student, not Toyota, student. And is it student or students? Students with S. It's very important to respect the naming that we tell you. So, and I'm going now just to see the different keys. I have student ID, so I'm going to type it student ID. Did you notice that student, I have underscore ID, not with a space. You see here, I use underscore. It's better to use underscore than space, because with the space, sometimes later on when we're going to be working with queries and so on, it will be a little bit not easier for us to see. So that's why we will be working with the underscore better than having spaces. This is one way to do it. Let's say now this is going to be a number and field size byte. So field size byte. We said that the byte and integer and long integer, all of these are integer numbers, which means numbers without the decimal values, like 1, 2, 5, minus 2, minus 10, or whatever. And the difference between these three, this is a small, medium, and large. Small what, medium what, and large what numbers. This is like a container. What kind of numbers you're going to be putting in this container, this field? The type that you're going to change, will it matter? Why do we need to think about this? Well, because now we're talking about a database that will have a lot of data. So if in this field I'm going to be having only some numbers like the age, for example, that is just a small number, it's not going to be in the millions, I don't need to reserve a big space for that small number. So in the database I'm saying, don't reserve a big space, reserve just a small space, because I'm going to be putting just small numbers. And this is going to be efficient, so when I'm saved my database, the database file is not going to be very big for nothing, having just a lot of empty spaces. So that's for efficiency, that you specify what's the size of your data. You don't want to, for example, like we have here, for example, a field for gender being either M for male or F for female. We don't want to have like 25 characters, while I'm going only to be using only one. What happened to these 24 are lost for every record. If I have 1 million record multiplied by 24 characters, and each character is 8 bytes, let's say. 8 bits, 1 byte. So this is going to become a lot of 24 million of lost spaces, 24 million of 8 bytes, 24 million of bytes. That's a lot of, almost like 24 million, maybe 1 megabyte. 20 megabytes of information in your database is going just to be empty, because you did not specify the right size. So the size matters. That's why we need to pay attention to this thing. So we were talking about this data type number, and then the field size. The field size is, I'm specifying what is the size of this number, and if I know exactly what kind of numbers I'm going to be putting, then I can decide which one is to use. If I don't, by default, you see, by default Access gives you the biggest that you can, because it doesn't know what is the size, so it gives you something that will work in most cases. If you want to be something which is like more real numbers, like 5.2, 2.2, if you put integer or something like that, it will not work. If you type 5.2, while you said that this is a long integer, the 0.2 is going to go. Only the 5 is going to stay. And that's why it's very important to make sure that you select the right field size depending on your case. So in this case, let's say we follow the byte. The last thing is to make sure that this is a primary key, and it was already a primary key, so I'm not going to change it. I'll just make sure that it stays a primary key. So now this is done. Now let's talk about this name, data type text. Let's add it, name. If you use name, you see it will tell you that this is a reserved keyword by Access and you should not use it. But if you want to use it, you still can use it. I'm using it, so I'm saying yes. The text, we say this is short text and field size 25. So I'm going to be putting 25. 25 means in the name, I'm allowing 25 letters maximum. Actually, I'm not accurate. I should have said I'm allowing 25 characters. Because I can put letters, numbers, commas. This all counts as a character, but I can put only 25 of them. If I have 26, well, because I fixed it to 25, I can't add the 26th character. So that's why when we put a short text, we can put anything. We can put a letter, we can put a number, we can put a punctuation, whatever. The last thing is talking about this caption. A caption is something really interesting, but we will not see it with this example. This example is, not very good for that. Let's say instead of I don't want this to be name, I want this to be student name. So it can see clearly. So where this caption shows, what does it do? Well, it does something quite simple. Now I'm saving because I would like to see the datasheet view. This is, I think, how they call it, datasheet view. You see here what I see? Student ID. Student name. The one that I did not put here anything in the caption. So because I did not put anything in the caption, it showed only the field name. If I changed something in the caption, the field name stays the same, but how it is shown is going to be different. So this is how you show it, but internally what's your field name is going to be different from how you see it. So that's why this is the captions work. It just shows you a different way. Instead of showing student underscore ID, because it's better to have underscore than spaces, but it's better just to show something else than this underscore. It's ID, and that will be enough. That's the job of caption. Fine, inshallah? Yes? Yeah, caption you can put spaces if you want. You can put whatever you want there, yes. That's why I put spaces. You can put anything there, yes. It's better if you have some spaces, some very long description, whatever, to put it in the caption rather than in the field name. So we're done with this. Let's go now with the address. So I'm going to be doing address and short text, and by default is 255. I would like 225, so let's put 225 in the field size. Nothing in the rest. City. And then city text and 50. Okay, what else? Gender text 1. Okay, this, and then we have to do something. Gender text, and then I just would like to have 1. And then it says something else. This validation rule and validation text. Okay, this validation rule means that we would like to put a rule on this gender. We said that this gender is going to accept the text, only 1 character. However, if I run this 1 character, if I'd like to put type more, it will not allow me, this is why we said only 1 is allowed. But it allows me to type anything, which is something that I don't want. What can I do to put some restriction on those? I would like only to accept M or F. So what I can do is go back here, and in this gender there's something called validation rule, and this validation rule I'll put a condition. What is the condition? It should be M or F. Now you see what happens. It adds for me the double quotes, and I put it on purpose, did not add them myself, because if I added them myself, they will be added sometimes automatically. It will mess up my stuff. Yes. It's different about what? Oh, capital, and actually it makes a difference. Yes. Let's have a look. For example, if I do something, let's try it. Let's save. Okay. Data integrity have changed. Okay. Well, because I forgot to change what I added before. So now I just would like to right click here and delete this row and start again. Let's look here for the gender. If I type small lowercase f, is it acceptable? Well, it was accepted. Okay, what about the 4? Because it tells me only M or F. So actually I was thinking I was wrong. I said it has to be capital, but actually it accepts capital and lowercase, even if you write it like this. So this is going to give you this kind of message because you did not respect the rule. The rule says you either have to put M or F. So if I put F, it should work. If I put M, it should work. But if I just put something else, it will tell me, sorry, one of more values are prohibited by the validation rule, M or F, set to students.gender. Students is the name of the table. Gender is the name of the field. So this is table.field. Enter a value that the expression for this field can accept. We don't want to see this message. We want to change this message to make it something, more useful, more easy to understand, as opposed to this very hard to understand message. So this is the job of validation text. Validation text is the message, the error message that will appear when you enter a value that is not respecting this validation rule. So I can say, for example, sorry, you got it wrong. Now, if I type this in this validation text, if I then save and go back to this datasheet view, I try to type something else, it will show me, sorry, you got it wrong, instead of this long sentence that came by default. So I can change the error message by doing something in the validation text. The validation rule puts a condition. The validation text, what is displayed if this condition is not respected? And of course, we should display something more useful than, sorry, you got it wrong. You should explain to me what I should do. So, for example, you must specify M or F. It's more appropriate. So now, if I select something else, then that should show me you must specify M or F. So that's the purpose of this validation rule and validation text. Is this clear, inshallah? Okay, good. Now we have quality points. So let's have these quality points. And notice the underscore in the quality points. The quality points is a number, integer, and decimal places auto. Okay, let's understand that. I mean, again, this example could have been better. I mean, this is not the best example. Integer, and decimal places actually is automatically showing the decimal places as auto by default. We don't need to change this. But this will make sense if it was not integer, if it was like a value, like a decimal place, 5.2 or something like that. Imagine now I'm changing the example, the exercise to explain this better. Let's say now this, instead of having this byte, I would like to use single or double. The difference between these two is just a small number, decimal number, real number, 5.2, 100.79, whatever, and large, small and large in these decimal values. I'm going to use the larger, let's say, for example. Now, let's save and go back and put some values. If I put, for example, 5.2 here, it just shows automatically just the number that I have here. If I took, for example, 250, whatever, it's going to show me 25. But the problem is here, it's going to tell me, sorry, but you have a problem in your key, because I said that this is a primary key and we have two people having the same key. I'm just going to change it to something that, so we don't have the same key. Now, I don't want to see this. I want them to have all the same number of decimal values after the decimal place. For example, I want them all to be only 1 or 2 or 5 or let's say 3, for example. Now, this decimal places, it just tells me control how many values after the decimal dots is going to be displayed. I want them, for example, to be 3. Now, it's going to show all of them as no. Okay, I'm doing something wrong. No, I did save. Oh, okay, sorry. It doesn't add. No, I made a mistake. It doesn't add. It doesn't add zeros. But if you have more than, for example, if I specify only one decimal place, and even in some of them they have more than one, well, I don't understand why this doesn't show it. It should show only one. Well, no, this is double. It should work, and I don't understand why it doesn't. Maybe I need to enter it again. Let me see. 2.6, and here that's normal, and 5.26. That's weird. It doesn't seem to be working. Anyway, I'm going to check this Y. I'm probably expecting there's a problem here, but maybe my understanding, it seems like it says the number of the digits that are displayed to the right of the decimal separator, which is, this is, I'm controlling how many digits are displayed on the right of the decimal separator. But I just would like to show one. But anyways, maybe this has something to do with the forms. Let's skip that for now, inshallah. I'm going to check this, why is it like that. So decimal places, for now it was auto before, so let's leave it as how it was, and make this back to integer, because we don't want this to be something else than integer. Of course, now when I change this, it's going to tell me something. Some data may be lost, because in the fields they were 5.2. Now I make them, it doesn't accept the 0.2, it should accept only the integer numbers. So it will tell me some data is going to be lost. Are you sure? I say yes. Now if I go back and see, all these are going to be changed. It was 2.6, I think. It was become 3, and the 5 point something else, 0.20 something, it went back to 5. So we lost some information, but because we changed it from a real number to a integer number. So I'm going to get back to you on this decimal places. Credits, same thing. Oh, by the way, you notice these two? They are exactly the same, right? I can do something interesting, which is copy, Control C, Control V, and just change it to credit. Is it credits? And actually, no, the information is not going to be copied, as you can see. Just the data type and all the properties are going to be copied. This one is number integer. This one is also number and integer. So that's what it does. So the copy and paste, just make sure that if they have the same data type and field size and all different properties, you can just copy them. Now the interesting thing, this one, financial aid. Financial aid. So I should put A capital just to respect the naming. And this is about to be a yes no. So I'm going to choose this yes no, which just shows like a push button. But they tell me also some lookup display control. So let's go to the lookup. This is the one. And the display control, the way I want it to be displayed, instead of having like the checkbox, I would like to change something to a combo box. And this combo box, it will show me a list. This is the idea behind the combo box. So before doing this, let me just maybe put it back as how it was. It was a checkbox. A checkbox is this one over here that you have seen. Check, uncheck. But if I want to change the way it looks to something else, I can go to this lookup and then change the way it looks. I can put it as a text. Somebody needs to type something, or a combo box, which is this is a combo box, something that I can select from. It gives me some options, and then I can select from these options. This is a combo box. So this is also another combo box. It gives me some options. I would like it to be like this, and then in the source, I just would like the row source to be yes and no. So here in the row source, instead of first of all, I need to change this to value list. This is what it says, right? Source type value list, because I'm going to give a value, and the row source is the value. The list is yes, semicolon, no. I can put whatever I want. I can put something else if I want it, anyways. But it just shows me just a list of things that are going to be displayed. Now, if I save and go back, now if I can see, it shows me actually that I can choose yes or no based on this list that I entered. So this is the idea behind this. And let's continue. This is the lookup. The lookup is giving you some options, and we're going to see another one here. Compass, which is field text and then field size 50. It looks like it's city. I'm going to copy it from city. You see, city, same thing, and same thing here. So I'm going to copy it from city. Select here from the whole city. Control C. Go here. Control V, and then rename it to campus. and it's faster than just doing the same thing. Just make sure that they have the same everything, properties and so on. Just don't look only for this, because it will copy everything. If it has a caption, it will copy the caption as well. Everything is going to be copied. The last one is this major. So in the major, we want this to be look at from here, lookup wizard. So it will select, actually for me, it will help me design this lookup. I would like to put some values in one column. So I want to look up fields to get values from another table or query. No, this is not what I want. I want this to type the values myself. So I'm going to select this one. If I need the values, what this tells you, actually, you can get the values from another table. If you, imagine you have another table with all this information stored inside of it, and then you want to list from something from that table, you can do it using this lookup wizard. But now we'd like to type our own values, and in this we'd like only to have one column. In that one column, we'd like to type all these ones. So business, engineering, IT, MIS. I pressed enter. I shouldn't. I should have went here, maybe with the tab probably. I said business, engineering, and then tab, IT, tab, and then MIS. And that's it. Now click next. So what label would you like for your lookup field? You don't need to change anything. Just one thing that you can do though, you can limit to the list or make it free. So what does this, if you click on this one, the user will only need to select among the list. If you don't click on this one, the user can select from the list, but he can also type it himself. He can type anything else, even if it's not in the list. Again, you check this, the user can only select from the list. He cannot type anything else. So either it's business, engineering, IT, or MIS. If you don't check this one, leave it like this open, the user can select if he wants, or he can type something else. He can type English department, for example, if he wants. And this is the idea. So it's up to you. In this case, we want to leave it open, let's say, because there were no indication about what to do, right? So let's leave it open. The last one is here, allow multiple values. This means, can I select, for example, IT and MIS at the same time, or IT and business, or IT and other ones? Or I want to be able to select only one. I cannot select more than one. So that's the question here. If I select yes, it will allow me to add many. If I select no, then it will look. If I click in this one, it will just check that I'm going to limit from the list, and then you can select more than one from the list. But if I don't want this, so anyways, I'm just explaining to you what these options are. But if you need to add them, you add them. If you don't, we don't. In this case, nothing was telling us what to do, so we just leave them as they were and click on finish. Once you finish, the lookup is actually a short text, like any other text, except if you see it's like anything, except that it has this selected for us: combo box, value list. And you notice what I typed? Same thing what happened to the yes, no. It's the combo box, value list, and then I typed my list. Actually, it's the same thing here. That's the idea. I mean, it's the same thing. I could have done financial aid with a wizard as well. It will have worked. Now, if you go back here, except that, I mean, it will select the data type anyways. Now, it's saying that the field size should be 50. So for this major, so I'm selecting field size and making sure that it's 50. And that's it. And now I have finished entering all these things. Just I would like to test. You see, I can test here. I select what I want. I can also, because I didn't limit it, I can type whatever I need as well. So that's the idea behind not being able to limit to the list. Any questions regarding this, inshallah? Is it clear? Yes. Okay, so it's your turn now.